Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2014 USBC Open Championships. This is Media Relations Manager Matt Canizar alongside Aaron Smith. We are behind lanes 43 and 44 at the National Bowling Stadium. Here to watch some of the tournament's greatest bowlers. Lifetime average leader Gail Myers Jr., USBC Hall of Famer Jeff Richgels, and the rest of the 11thframe.com team, Marc McDowell, Steve Richter, and Mike Shady. They shot 35.02 last night in the team event and have great momentum coming into today's doubles and singles, so looking forward to a nice performance. We've seen them in the team event the last 4 years, so we decided to mix things up a little bit and show some doubles and singles. So now practice is over and we'll be underway in just a minute. Thanks for joining us. Once again, this is Matt Canizar and Aaron Smith. We're live at the 2014 USBC Open Championships.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to remind you that fast photography is not permitted during competition. After the bowling stadium, we're ready to begin. Bowlers at the sound of the bell, you can begin your event. Good luck and good bowling.
And there's the sound of the bell. We'll be underway in just a second. First two up on the approach is going to be Dan Gepfert and Gail Myers Jr. Again, this is doubles and singles here at the National Bowling Stadium. 6 games on the same pair of lanes. Today they're going to be taking on the 40-foot USBC Sports Certified doubles and singles pattern. Last night in the team event, it was a 43-foot pattern. And again, 35.02 was their team score. A little bit short of record-holding Motion Plus lanes, 35.61, but a good head start heading into doubles and singles. The number they're chasing in team all events, 10,363 by Jans HI. And they're coming in just, well, actually 3 pins ahead of the pace set by Jans. What feels like forever ago. But those guys came out and bowled great in doubles and singles, averaged more than 228. And set a spectacular number, but Richgels and crew, they've been there before. They took home the Team All Events title in 2005, had a few close calls along the way since. Perfectly capable and very prepared for this year's Open Championships appearance. This is what they live for, Mr. Smith. This is it. And no doubt preparation for next year's event will begin tomorrow, if not already. Great statistics on this team, on this group, of course. Jeff Richgels, the Hall of Famer, 5 championships here on the tournament lanes. And as we mentioned, the group came together in 2005 for the team all events title. And they found success again in 2011 right in this building as they took home the regular team title. Richgels and Richter added the regular doubles title in 2005. And of course, a slew of other accomplishments, including a pair of 300 games by Gail Myers Jr. And although Mike Shady has never been under 1900, kind of waiting on that breakthrough. He's been close again, a few top fives in singles and all events and doubles with McDowell. So just waiting for that big year when he stands in the spotlight, perhaps by himself. Aaron, what do you think?
Well, Mike just missed a chance at the singles title last year, finishing up in third. 783, I believe, was the number. So certainly capable. Of course, the big story with Shades, as they call him, the 1900 streak. As soon as he hits 20 years here, pretty much a lock to be the new takeover Gail spot as the lifetime average leader. So we'll see what he has in store today. These guys actually threw some plastic balls to start in practice right up about 15 to try and bring some of the oil down the lane. They used that strategy last year and found some success, including that big set by Shady in singles. Talking to the guys a little bit yesterday after they finished up. Obviously a big number they're chasing. Have to shoot 68-61 for their 6 games today, which is, as you mentioned, slightly more than 228 per bowler today. But Jeff was kind of under the impression in talking to him, if they could somehow get to about 1050, 1100, right around there, he feels they could get the ball rolling and wouldn't find themselves in too deep of a hole. I know a few of the other live streams we've had for doubles and singles teams have kind of struggled out of the gates on this 40-foot pattern, so we've seen some lower scores, some below par scores, so those folks obviously gotta go plus 800 today. Adding on to that in the first game certainly makes the challenge all that more difficult.
Aaron, these guys always seem to be in the mix, and the crowd's always behind them. We're right now on the higher end of the National Bowling Stadium. 64 lanes in play this year for the Open Championships. We're behind lanes 43 and 44. And all of the seats seem to be taken as everybody enjoys watching these guys. And no matter what, no matter how they're feeling, or no matter what the scores are, it seems like they're always in contention and always get the attention every time they're in the building. Of course, always well dressed, a lot of team pride there. They work very hard at every aspect of the Open Championships. And many folks have said that if anybody can take down that sizable team all events number, it could be these guys. And even when you think they're down and out, Richgels with the bum wrist, getting a quarter zone shot not too long ago, and maybe struggling a little bit, the rest of the guys step up and pull things together. And no doubt we're going to see a run for sure today. If not team all events, in something, because these guys always have a little bit of magic, and it always seems to be a different guy. Yeah, they kind of share that responsibility, and Gail Myers has quietly got things done in the past, and usually he'll bowl on the earlier squad. Back in the old days, the old schedule, he would bowl, at 9:20 in the morning, and the rest of the crew would come on at 11:40 or 5:30 even, but just to split things up a little bit, and so they'd all come watch Gail, get some ideas, and then go out there and bowl well later on in the day. But now we have the main 5 plus Dan Gepford here on our TV pair. The format here changed a little bit in 2013 now. 6 players on a pair for doubles and singles compared to 4 in the past. And all 6 games contested on the same pair of lanes. So the strategy and basic game plan is changing a lot in 2013. And of course, you know, for one reason to slow the pace a little bit for some of our older participants, and now a lot of that team play that we see in the team event certainly comes into play here in doubles and singles.
Just a rundown of team event yesterday on how they got to that 35.02. Steve Richter led the way, firing 748, followed by Marc McDowell 707, Mike Shady 706, Gail Myers 705, and Jeff Richgels coming in at 636, grinding out the last game. Could not find the strikes, but spared his way to a clean 191. I know Shady had some rough hits that last game as well. Pocket 710 in the 8th frame. On his way to a 192. Felt he threw it a lot better than the score suggested. But that's and we've said it once. We'll say it on probably every stream from here on out. That not only do you need to throw the ball great out here to have a chance to see your name up in the banners, but you need to catch the breaks as well.
Well, and again, the tall task for the 11thframe.com teams have to average more than 228 in doubles and singles today, and off to a little bit of a slow start here. Jeff Richgels missing the single pin in the 3rd frame, still strikeless. Gail Myers without a strike, and Mike Shady without a strike through 2, trying to change that here on lane 44. It leaves the flat dime. But we've seen it before. We saw it in 2011. They got off to a slower start in the team event, closed things out with, at the time, the highest game in tournament history for some dramatics, and took home that team title. I would say let's never count these guys out until Mike Shady throws his last ball for 1900 plus. Still a long way to go, of course. 6 games of doubles and singles. Gail Myers Jr. has been battling back and forth over the last couple of years with Michael Nape, a one-time champion here at the USBC Open Championships for that top spot on the average list. And not too long ago, we added the 30-year list as well. So giving our most dedicated bowlers another opportunity to measure themselves against the rest of the field here. More than 9,000 teams scheduled for this year's event. Kick things off February 28th. We're going to run until July 13th. So a nice 136-day run here in Reno. Our home away from home. A lot happening at the National Bowling Stadium this year. Of course, again, as I mentioned, 64 lanes out of 78 being used for the Open Championships. And then to our right, lanes 69 through 78, the Storm Bowlers Journal Championships, presented by USBC, and that event is a great opportunity to pick up some extra prize money and get a tune-up, as it features the very same lane condition we're seeing right now, this 40-foot doubles and singles pattern.
I know folks are always interested in ball choices. Looks like Jeff Richgels is using Rotogrip Asylum. Like a Rotogrip Disturbed in Steve Richter's hands. Both of those guys Storm Rotogrip staffers. Looks like a ebonite pivot for both Shady and McDowell here. There's the first strike of the day from Mike Shady.
The first of many, I'm sure, as he gets lined up and comfortable. And looks like these guys going with a little bit of surface, playing a little bit straighter. And in theory, a potential benefit as the day progresses. Certainly these guys can get left and wheel it, most of them at least, if they have to. Richgels with the creaky wrist, maybe not a possibility for him, but certainly we've seen McDowell and Shady be able to get left and use that hook room to the right that they create early. So again, Aaron, you mentioned earlier in practice throwing a few plastic balls down the middle of the lane to carry some of that oil down and create a little bit of hold. And now a little bit of breakdown to the outside. And we'll see what happens as the day progresses. But great shot there from McDowell. He's got 3 out of 4, looking pretty comfortable.
First strike of the day for Gail Myers Jr. Hi, Mike Flanagan. InsideBowling.com. And Storm's Mike Flanagan stopping by. He's just wants a good seat. No better place than in the live stream booth, Mr. Flanagan. Best seat in the house right here.
Well, always a nice crowd behind Jeff Richgels and his teammates, and a little bit less seating room here in 2014. We're down behind lanes 43 and 4 here at the National Bowling Stadium, and every seat taken. A lot of folks came early to get a spot here. Of course, Mike Flanagan in the building last night to take in the action and help share it with the world a little bit. Of course, he is part of the staff at Storm Products, our Bowlers Journal Championship sponsor, and big supporter of the Open Championships and bowling in general. Anything we can do to promote bowling and keep the game relevant, we certainly appreciate all the efforts and dedication.
Mike will also be taken to the lanes in the next few days. Today, when do you bowl, Mike? When do you bowl?
Sunday, Monday.
Sunday, Monday. So Mike Flanagan looking to take down the 35-61 on Sunday. 22-73 on Monday. Mark it down.
See, Aaron, for the longest time, those were my squads as well. I had to get off of those days because I couldn't compete with Mike Flanagan and some of his guys. So
great shot there by McDowell. Looks like he's a little firmer than some of the other guys on the team, and is able to stay a little bit, keep his angles a little bit tighter right now, and it's working out tremendously well. 4 out of 5 to start.
we do appreciate everybody joining us. For those of you just coming in, this is Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith. We're live at the 2014 USBC Open Championships. Lifetime average leader for minimum of 20 years. Gail Myers Jr. stepping up now on lane 43. Just notched his first strike here in doubles. Looking to make it 2 in a row and get some momentum going here. He is successful in that attempt. He's bowling doubles with his longtime doubles partner, Dan Gepford.
Tough break there for Dan, 7-10.
So much experience and talent in this group. Many, many years together on the tournament lanes. I believe Richgels said 9 of them have been together since 1998 at least, some for even longer. A hard-working crew.
Well, between the two teams, I believe for 11thframe.com 1 and 2, 8 Eagle winners out of the group. Way more than 8 Eagles. But yeah, so certainly a talented group. They know how to work together. As you mentioned in the beginning, this is the tournament these guys live for year in and year out.
And everybody serves a role. I know it seems cliche and we talk about it quite a bit, but we've also seen these guys more than anybody else on Bowl TV. This is 5 consecutive years. Steve Richter looking at us right now, the information guy of the group. He collects the data, puts out the patterns at his bowling center, tests them, reports back to the rest of the guys as far as what he sees and what he thinks, what kind of equipment they might need, organizes some practice sessions for them, just gets them prepared from that aspect. Jeff Richgels, the hard-working team captain, makes sure everything is in order paperwork-wise and makes all the arrangements. Certainly, I'm sure the hotel arrangements at the Sands, our official bracket sponsor. Of course, their fine jerseys as well. And then the rest of the guys just go out there and do what they do. And they throw great shots and big scores. And that seems simple enough. Know your role, stick to it. Work together as a team, communicate. It's a 10-person team. It's not just 5 guys out there. There's 10 guys working together, especially in the team event. And it pays off with continued success on the tournament lanes. We appreciate everybody joining us on this beautiful Saturday afternoon.
Inside the National Bowling Stadium.
Well, if it's as nice wherever you guys are as it is outside in Reno right now, it's no wonder. I would hope everybody would be watching this on the archive version later on today and out enjoying some sunshine and whatever people do when it's not bowling season.
Wait, there's a not bowling season?
Well, for the rest of the world, there certainly is. But it also helps that so many great bowlers are in the building right now, so they're watching in person.
That's true. Saw Jeff Fair around not too long ago. His Storm Cincinnati group, another one to talk about yesterday. 3501. 11thframe.com. One guy's actually needed Mike Shady to strike on the fill ball to have the high score of the day. It's usually not the case with 3500s, but you never know what's going to happen here at the USBC Open Championships. But yeah, you talked so much about these 10 guys working together. The Storm Cincinnati group used a different theory and actually split up their 2 teams. And it worked out pretty well. Obviously, the 3501 for Storm Cincinnati with 1285 the last game, the second highest in Open Championships history. But their companion team had Marc Massey out of Alexandria, Kentucky, put on a show of his own. Rolling 300 in the last game.
Yeah.
The 18th of the year.
Marc finally conquered the team event, something he says he struggled with, and for him, he said it's the typically the volume of oil and just never really gets comfortable. And this year, of course, 43 feet, little lighter volume. and some big scores in the team event, but he blasted him for 759, including that 300 game. Feels really good coming into doubles and singles today, where he typically shines, and those guys will bowl at 10:30 tonight. And also hoping to chase down that team all events number of 10,363, put up by Jans HI quite a while ago. Storytelling Jeff Riggle stopping by to tell some tales to Mike Flanagan.
I think I caught most of it. The companion team on 45 and 6. Obviously, we got 6 on a pair here, so we got the main 6 here on 43 and 4. And then 45 and 6, they have the other 4 guys, but of the 2 other guys that were paired up, one of them, Tom Shem, is actually the guy who filled in for Jeff when he had wrist surgery back in the late 80s. So that was, I guess, just a random occurrence. So how about that? Nifty little story there. So Mike Flanagan making a home in the live stream booth here.
Hey, Aaron, at least we're not in the way.
That is true.
So Gail Myers' string comes to an end at 3. And again, we're bowling 6 games here, doubles and then singles. A lot of work to do. These guys need to average more than 228 if they're going to reach the top of the team all event standings. So a lot of good shots and not so good results here in game number 1. Gail Myers Jr., lifetime average leader, never shot under 1,800 here. Mike Shady, not far behind in years. Never shot under 1,900. Both had 700 yesterday in the team event on the way to 35.02.
Jeff was shaking the wrist a little bit there. Hopefully, no pain. Instead of the cortisone shot worked pretty well yesterday. Just trying to preserve the wrist for this week. He just hasn't bowled a whole lot lately, and felt that kind of played into his performance yesterday. Couldn't do the things he quite wanted to do with the bowling ball, and as we said, grinded out. Tough last game there, but stayed clean. Filled his frames, and then now he's ready to make shots like that today.
That break for McDowell, a 4-9. He was looking for a double. Aaron, I don't know how much more I could have to say about these guys. Since 2005, it was pretty much one of my first projects was chronicling their run at team all events and regular doubles. And
it's a pretty good way to start out the career.
We've written their names quite a few times in the 10 events. Almost to the point, I feel like they're personal PR guys sometimes, which is great. That means that they're performing every single year for the last decade. And as I mentioned, it always seems to be somebody different. We've had the opportunity to talk to each of these guys in different capacities over the years. And I ran into a gentleman last night, Jeff DeMonk, who I've known for many, many years. And he said he has one simple goal when he comes out here every year, and that's to get interviewed by us. Of course, probably because it's such a great experience getting to spend time with us, but at the same time, it means you did something great. So to get your name in the headlines, it means you performed on the biggest stage.
And right now on Bowl TV, let's call this a holiday in the bowling season, the Jeff Riggles live stream. Such an important day. People even tie the knot for Jeff Riggles bowls at the Open Championships. Jeff mentioned, and we want to give a shout out to a member of the 2012 regular team winners, Andy Mills, tying the knot today with Lindsey Jerza back home in Wisconsin. So best of luck to those two kids.
But maybe they're pre-gaming with a little bit of live stream action as they're getting ready for the big day.
Well, when Riggs tags you on Facebook, you gotta come through. So now we got the wedding gift that keeps on giving. The shout out on the Riggs live stream. So congrats to those two.
Usually the only shouting going on during a Riggs live stream is from Riggs himself. With a too bad here and there. There was a too bad heard around the world in 2005 after they solidified their place in the standings. They pretty much had the whole Baton Rouge River Center to themselves, and boy did that baby echo. But they held on for 2 eagles that year, the first as a team, and a very meaningful performance for the group to finally get the other 4 guys on board, and now they've had to go out and get themselves some eagle dusters. That's what they call the wives and girlfriends here. A little bit of extra housework there, but certainly worth it. These guys are always talking through every shot, talking ball changes right now.
USBC Hall of Famer Leanne Holsenberg watching the action behind us. Dave Armstrong, Rick Hara. Very talented Armstrong printing crew, which will be bowling in the next few days. Horton Nation not in town yet.
Leanne actually stopped by while you were at the station. Just wanted to say hello, and she's here to do a little bit of work and do a little bit of bowling. Got to chat with her son Barrett for a minute. The future of the sport, the youngster surrounded by greatness here at the National Bowling Stadium.
And you're not talking about us, right?
Well, maybe a little bit. So game 1 already coming to a close. No real strings of strikes here on our TV pair. So you guys are gonna have some work to do in the next 5 games for sure. To our left, Gary Johnson and Michael Steeker.
490 start. Pretty solid. Pair to their left, the Vostries are in the house.
Some big doubles numbers at the top of the leaderboard this year. 1465. Clark and Carl Polzer from Minnesota. And they've had a couple close calls as well. But the doubles being fresh for every squad now, starting last year. Fresh oil for every squad, and again, the 6 on a pair certainly has changed the game quite a bit here. As even a playing field as you can get coming out here for every squad. And the scores have reflected the challenge of both the pattern and the fresh oil. Last year it took 1440 to win, this year 1465 on top. But we'll see. Maybe we'll catch a little magic while we're here today. If you're curious about all of the success and scores here at the Open Championships, you can visit bowl.com. Go to the Open Championships page, and you can see all the news, notes, photos, all kinds of great information. You can check out the lane conditions under the information tab and see what's going on here since February 28th when we kick things off.
Again, we want to thank everyone for tuning in today to Bowl TV, presented by Track Bowling. Finally hit the 300 mark live here, so that's always a good sign. Numbers are going up as the day gets later here in Reno.
The word is out. Some folks on a lunch break. Probably a lot of people out there bowling today.
See my good friend Kevin Michalowski stopping by to say hi. Probably must not be working too hard at Kofoid's Pro Shop if he's watching the live stream, but yeah, it's Saturday. Watch the live stream. Tell your friends. And of course, let everyone know on social media.
We did.
You can follow the Sport of Bowling on Facebook at facebook.com/USBC. And of course, on Twitter at twitter.com/USBC. And for all the fun insight here in Reno, at USBC Matt, at USBC Aaron, that's AARON. Matt's only has one T because I need more followers.
You're trying to sabotage me.
Indeed. Looks like a ball change there on the fill for Riggs. Looked like he liked it off his hand. Gonna go talk to the guys about it. 2:03 for the Hall of Famer.
All right, so the number crunching Aaron Smith will have the countdown to 10,000. 35:02, the number in the team event, led by Steve Richter's 7:48. For the 5 guys over the 700 mark.
I was gonna say a big final frame here for Shady and McDowell, getting pretty close to kind of where Jeff was hoping they would get, about that plus 50 number. It was a decent start, but 4-pin and a flat 10 there. They'll be plus this game, but not by a whole lot.
So first game of doubles here, just about done. Certainly a grind here at the National Bowling Stadium. 40-foot pattern. Certainly the tougher of the 2 patterns at this year's event. Last year, the first time, we went with 2 different oil patterns.
Uncharacteristic open. Singleton nonetheless for Mike Shady to finish with 192. So 2 single pins missed here in the opener.
There's a nice break on the fill before McDowell gets the 710 to go for 202. these guys. Sponsored by Turbo. Might be time for a boost here. 5 games to go.
So I lied, 991. So -9 this game, so.
I'll never trust you again, Mr. Smith.
Smart choice. We start game 2 here. I know we talked a lot about these guys, but while we got the chance, I'm going to give a little rundown of each guy, just kind of guessing everyone knows by this point, but just in case you don't, well, just kind of what these guys have accomplished here at the USBC Open Championships. Starting with the one guy bowling for the 11frame.com 2, Dan Geppert, making his 21st appearance, has a career average of 204. So certainly a solid run for Dan throughout his tournament career. Steve Richter making his 23rd appearance with a lifetime average of 209. He's a 3-time champion here, was the regular doubles champion in 05 with Richgels. He added 713 in that set. They went on to win team all events, and then of course the team event here at the National Bowling Stadium in 2011. Marc McDowell making his 28th appearance, 2-time titleist here, and a 5-time PBA Tour titleist, including the big one in 1992, the Firestone Tournament of Champions. Career average of 214 out here. Gail Myers, lifetime average leader at 217 through, this is his 26th year. 2-time titleist, 2005 team all events and 2011 team. All these guys have that one. 2 300s on the championship lanes. 1991 during his team event, 1998 in doubles, and a 299 in 1993 during doubles.
I really thought he was going to be the first guy to get to 3 300s here at the Open Championships, and that honor, of course, went to Craig Splett last year.
Certainly fun to watch. And then, of course, Mike Shady, the 1900 record, his low year here at the Open Championships, 2008, 1913, which is would be a banner year, would send me running, may never come back again. I'd lie, I'd come back more often probably. But 223 lifetime average, making his 19th appearance. So presumably in 2016, when we're back here at the National Bowling Stadium, your new 20-year lifetime average leader will be Mike Shady out of Fairview, Pennsylvania. He also rolled a 299 here in doubles in 2011. And of course, Jeff Richgels, the USBC Hall of Famer, won his first Eagle back in 1986 in the team event. Claimed the 1997 All Events title, going 90 clean for a 22-41 set. And of course, the 2 titles in 2005 and the 2011 team event. Rolled a 299 in the 93 doubles. And the infamous 298 in Baton Rouge in 2005. Matt, you were there for that, right?
I was there, I believe it was a 5-7 on the way to a 787 series. Richter added 713 for 1,500 on a very difficult lane condition. The scores not very high in Baton Rouge in 2005. Took 791 to win singles, 33 and change to win the team event. But they blasted him in doubles and grabbed the team all events title as well. There's a terrible break for Richter, leaving the cold 8.
Looks like the ball change he made to start this game, it's given him a little bit better look. So even despite that bad break, something to work on off of that.
All 5 team members struck in the first frame, but 0 for 2 in frame number 2. We're in game 2 of 6. Doubles number they're chasing, 1465. Let's not forget about that. So many opportunities for success here. Doubles, singles, all events, and team all events. True test of versatility, 2 different patterns. No doubt these gentlemen are prepared and have done their homework. Richtels with the 2-8, the 10 goes late. Nice break there, but he looks baffled. It's the head scratching, eyebrow scrunching 2-8 after the ball change, just trying to figure out how to get to the pocket. We talked about it yesterday, when you move one way thinking it's gonna work, and then you move the other way thinking that's gonna work. It's like being left-handed, but from the other side of the lane, you just feel stuck sometimes.
Hold up a second, eyebrow scrunching. All right.
That just happened, absolutely. Trying to create a visual of the look on Richtels' face when he turned around after that shot. And now it's the SMH. He's shaking his head, still baffled. Talking it over, thought it was a good shot, no doubt. McDowell already with a double in the books. Shady trying to match. 202 and 192 for those guys. Game number 1. Shady still throwing the ebonite pivot. A little bit of surface. Good ball speed. That one goes high. Leaves 2/3 of the Zeke bait. The 3-6. Might be time for him to get something that's going to give him a little bit more length.
We saw Richtels and Richter make the ball change to something that looked like didn't have as much surface, a little bit of polish on there. So looks like Gail is stuck with the same ball, but moved in a little bit there.
Gail definitely left of some of the other guys. The slow wheel. Richtels' reaction has gone from baffling to laughable. Frustrating, I'm sure. Again, felt like he threw it well and just didn't quite finish, and that could be partially because of the wrist situation, maybe not being able to get it all at the bottom. Bone, doubles champion here at the Open Championships, dropping in on this fine Saturday afternoon to check out the action. Welcome, Chris Shipman, another familiar name. Randy Russell, who has spent some time on our live stream in the past.
I believe Chris Shipman had possibly the best comment ever in the chat room there. I believe he said he took off work to watch the live stream today. So, Chris, we applaud you. And thank you again for your continued support.
folks. Thank you for tuning in. Game 2 of 6 here at the 2014 USBC Open Championships. They're simply known as 11thframe.com rigs and crew. Trying to get it done here. If you've got the questions, we've got the answers. Maybe. If we don't know, we'll make it up. But just drop us a note in the chat room. We're glad to entertain any thoughts and questions along the way here. Big task at hand. These guys need to average more than 228. And got off to a slow start. They weren't even plus in the opener, so that 228 is creeping up there.
Gail and Steve talking over the idea for this next shot. Ten-pin stands for Myers Jr. Looking for his first double of game 2. Looks like Richter has gotten lined up after that ball change. 4 great shots to start game 2 here. Only blemish, a stuff 8. I believe he made the change to a Storm Marvel Pearl. So went from using something with a little bit of surface to something that gets down the lane a little bit.
So many choices. Bowlers at the OC allowed to bring 8 balls with them. But you really only need 1.
It's all Tim Damrow needed. And he took over the all events lead and helping Jans HI into the team all events lead. The number these guys are chasing today. Used the same ball for all 9 games, which included a 300 in the team event on his way to a 22-28 all events total, which was the winning score from the 2013 Open Championships here at the National Bowling Stadium. However, right here live on Bowl TV, Anthony Lacaze, Melrose Park, Illinois, put on a performance on the doubles and singles, going 760s in team event, followed up by 760s in doubles, 740s in singles. Post a 22.73, the 4th highest score in tournament history. So that is the number on top of all events. There's a double for Shady. Looks like Gail Myers using the Storm Zero Gravity. Great shot by Riggs there. Possibly a high road pearl in his hands right now. Let's try to do our best with the ball changes here. Let the folks know what these guys are using.
Heard Richgels walk by, said it's developing, and there's lots of games left. Of course, talking about the way the lanes are breaking down, transitioning, hopefully into something more favorable as they get into singles. We saw that last year, and Mike Shady blasted him, made a run at the singles title, came up just short. But things opened up nicely, everybody got comfortable, and big numbers were shot, but can they get enough along the way? If they keep throwing great shots like that, absolutely, but that number they need, the average they have to get the rest of the way, creeping up there. We'll have those calculations for you as the day progresses. Started at more than 228, but coming in after one game under par, that number's gonna go up a little bit here with 5 games to go.
Gail finds his first strike on lane 44. All of a sudden, we got a few guys working on a few strikes here. Developing, the word of the day. Richter didn't like that shot off his hand. Fortunate just with the 10 pin there. Wrist looked good on that one. Richgels 3 in a row there.
So a lot of folks coming to say hello to Richgels and crew here. Again, great bowlers in town this week. Armstrong Printing, Dave Armstrong, Rick Hara, Doug Becker, Jeff Vanasquez, and Ronnie Horton around town right now. Jeff Fair and his guys. Storm Cincinnati bowling tonight at 10:30, shot 35.01. So they're right on the same pace as 11thframe.com guys. So we're in the 7th frame of game number 2. Appreciate everybody being here. This is Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith. We're live at the 2014 USBC Open Championships. There's another miscue by Jeff Richgels. Chops the 4 off the 2. Hit a single pin miss earlier. We talked a lot too about how important it is to obviously make good shots and strike a lot, but make your spares here at the Open Championships. Jans HI, despite leading by quite a bit with a spectacular number, they left quite a few pins out there in single pins. And that could have been a record score, the team all events record, 10,425, set by Pollard's Bowl in 1996. That banner just above us here on lanes 43 and 44. And that legacy continues here as Ron Pollard Jr., a member of Storm Cincinnati, the newest member of that team, of course. Members of that group, Ken Jesse and Ken Abner, title winners here in 06 and 07. So a lot of experience there. Jeff Fair was on their crossing team those years and learned a lot from that experience, but would like to hoist that eagle for himself. Of course, his father, USBC Hall of Famer Steve Fair.
I actually saw Steve earlier today. Those guys are going to be bowling in a few days. Actually, Steve is, I believe, crossing with part of the Pollard's Bowl crew. Don Scudder, Bill Spigner, the Pollards, of course.
Well, Jeff said yesterday that Steve stepped aside to let the youth take over, to take the reins there, but it sounds like Steve did all right and find himself another team to bowl on. A lot of experience there. Hall of Fame caliber team, certainly. I don't know, what's the most Hall of Famers we've seen on one team? That could be it.
Well, it's hard to argue against some of these teams down the road having quite a few.
Certainly looking in the future, Lynn's Limited comes to mind right now. Gary Darashevsky, Lenny Borish, and recently inducted Dale Traber. Gus Yanar's probably not far behind. We got a ball return. That gold thing is just
spinning away on 43.
Oil covered and spinning. Come on.
I know people are finding new and fun ways to check out the live stream. We got tagged on Facebook, checking out the social media. David Eskew watching us live on a 55-inch television, so that's the way to do it. So once again, we appreciate everyone tuning in. taking some time on their Saturday to join us here live on Bowl TV, presented by Track. This is Aaron Smith and Matt Cannizzaro bringing you
And Gary
all the
Hulsenberg
action. And Gary
stopping by.
Hulsenberg.
The husband of USBC Hall of Famer Leanne Hulsenberg stopping by. Again, in town, do a little bit of work, a little bit of bowling. As the bowling has stopped here on the featured pair.
Yes,
Balls galore.
The gold ball is moved though in the back, so they are making their way.
So we're golden.
I see what you did there.
Back in action. Steve Richter's going to step up.
The witty Matt Cannizzaro, everybody. He's here all week. Seriously, he's here all week. He never leaves.
We certainly want to get our quality time in with the bowler, so what better place to spend it than here at the National Bowling Stadium, watching shots like that.
Fantastic. Richter, of course, put up 748 in yesterday's 35.02 total, leading the way.
Two-time champ Greg Zika stopping by to say hello. In the chat room. Again, if you have any questions or aren't sure where to find something on bowl.com, just drop us a note either in the chat room. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter, as Aaron mentioned earlier, the Sport of Bowling USBC. If you want some direct contact, Matt Cannizzaro USBC. Or you can see our wit in all its grandeur on Twitter. At USBC Matt, at USBC Aaron.
Limited to 140 characters or less.
That's the best way to learn, to hear us. Whoever invented the 140 character limit, brilliant.
Gail mixes him up for a double there. 9th frame already. This game is moved along quickly. Strikes starting to pile up here.
Strikes starting to pile up. Well, it's going to take a pyramid of strikes if they're going to catch that number set by Jan's HI. 10,363. Steve Richter doing everything he can. Looks like he got away with one there.
He gave it 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. That's a half a thumb more than Aaron Smith gave it here in the booth. But a great shot nonetheless. Again, we expect these lanes to open up and give these guys the opportunity to move left and wheel it. Jeff Riggles getting in on the action for the double.
It's getting pretty animated up there. It's only game 2. You know, we talked about this a few times on the air, but seeing these guys make the run at the title and the huge last game in 2011 was certainly something I'll never forget. Obviously, that was as a bowler, not an employee at the time, but
so as a bowler coming in, something you'll never forget, unlike the rest of that night. See what I did there? Some bowler humor.
I did. Talk about an 8th and 9th frame there. Nothing but strikes. These guys have migrated left a little bit, made some ball changes. Everyone in between right around the 15 to 17, 18 mark right now. Guys talking it over, getting to the right part of the lane, getting hits like that.
There it is.
First one of the day. Gail the Mitt Myers. I think he forgot it was the 10th frame there. Richgels already up the bowl. They don't know what's going on. Jeff yells 1-2 bad and everything goes crazy here at the NBS.
Good thing we have those little white arrows letting you know where to go and when. Del Ballard struggled with that a little bit yesterday. He had his teammates keep him in line though.
Guys are going to cut away a little bit here at the 10,363 number. Going to need this and more though. Final 4 games. We'll see how this pair breaks down here at the NBS. Do our best to let you know what everyone's throwing. Looks like Gail's using a 0 gravity right now on his way to a 226. Dan's been using the gold ball this game, the IQ Tour Pearl. I believe Riggs has switched to a High Road Pearl this game. Richter a Marvel Pearl. I believe Shady's still using the pivot. I'm not sure if McDowell still is or if he went to the pivot point. But that is, I believe, what we're looking at as far as ball selections here.
All right, Aaron, just to keep our eye on things around us as well. We talked earlier about Jeff Kersey and Tyler Voster having a good start here in doubles. Kersey 258, 255. Tyler fell off a little bit here. 214, 186, but 913 after 2, and we'll keep an eye on them as they try to chase down that 1465 number put up by Clark and Carl Polzer, father and son from Minnesota. Gail Myers chugging along here at just about his lifetime average. Leading the way for this group. .410 logged on now. We appreciate everybody's support. Everyone who told their friends to tell their friends. Mike Flanagan and the Woz, David Waswo, put the word out. Host of the Bowler Show. Yours truly will be on there tomorrow afternoon with Canizaro's Corner.
Oh, still you? Okay.
Still me.
For Riggs. Richter with a strike, 238.
All right, so game 2 coming to a close here. Things looking up. Some big numbers, just as expected. Grind out game 1. Open them up for the rest of the way. Aaron gave you the rundown on what balls we're seeing go down the lane. Still plenty of action here. So tell your friends. McDowell, the light mixer.
I think that is the pivot point. You're the expert though, I'll trust your judgment.
Just take a look as it comes out of the ball return there. does look like the ball of choice. Maybe even with a little bit of the shine taken off, but that has been a great ball for a few bowlers here. Our first 300 of the year. Terrence Blevins throwing the pivot point.
So after leaving the, I believe it was the 4-6-10 in the fourth, McDowell has not missed.
Again, McDowell gets that one right. Doesn't quite make it back like the last one did. Leaves the swish 7. Had that still been the pivot that he started with, not sure it would have made the turn when it hit the back of the pattern there. Shady gives up a couple sticks there on counts as well. Finishes with 221. So not a bad game too, but again, they're going to need to average around 230 after their first game. So they're in the neighborhood, but still, time for some big numbers.
244 for McDowell. So by my calculations, 11:43 here in game 2. So a big jump. That gets into plus 636 overall here. So still got some work to do. Certainly have started to get the lanes to a pretty favorable spot. Mr. Canizaro, Steve Bone asked an excellent question in the chat room. How are you looking in the All Events Challenge?
Well, Steve, anytime Aaron has the opportunity to brag a little bit on the air, he'll certainly make sure to point that out. And I believe with just a couple of bowlers left, I am down almost 700 pins, if not more. Mike Shady, the final member of my squad. No, Kent Wagner can save the day, but I'm gonna need those guys to shoot about 2354, 2400 apiece. Aaron looks like he will have the best of me in this year's inaugural kickoff debut of Fantasy Team All Events. It's gonna catch on. It's gonna be a thing. We just need somebody to step up, make this happen for us. But we showed you the way. We did it. We each drafted a team. We picked 6 of our favorite players, 5 top tier players, and then 1 either up and comer or somebody who's been there, done that, but might still have a little bit of magic left. And Aaron has, I think, 3 or 4 of the top 25 bowlers at this year's event, all with 2100. So I'm not going to concede just yet, but it's not looking good. So Steve, thanks for pointing that out. As we get game 3 underway here.
Good rundown, Matt.
We're a good distance from new doubles leaders on this pair, 43 and 44 at the National Bowling Stadium. Good games around us. We talked earlier about Michael Sticker and Gary Johnson having a nice performance as well. Just to our left, there's Brian Hallstrom. I know that guy from growing up in Florida. He also used to bowl on our same weekend, and he's back with his dad, Gary. Every day's a reunion here at the Open Championships. The opportunity to see folks we may only get to see once a year. Today, it was Leanne Holstenberg and Gary Holstenberg. Mr. Halstrom had some folks in from Wisconsin the last couple days. Del Ballard and his crew from Texas. And of course, again, it's a holiday. It's Jeff Riggles Day. But Mr. Riggles, please pick up the pace of play. Thank you. Remember, next year's event, we're headed to El Paso, Texas. The first time in 112 years of Open Championships competition at the event has traveled to the Sun City. Aaron Smith spent some time there in 2010, had a great time, great food, and awesome people, including our buddy Amigo Man. Looking forward to celebrating that event with the little guy. It's going to be a good time. Registration already open. Go to bowl.com, check the Open Championships page, register now. Times are filling up. Brand new schedule in 2015. There's no bad times for bowling. First squad of the day, doubles and singles at 9 a.m., followed by a 1 p.m. double single squad. Team events, 5 o'clock and 8:30. And on select days, that 8:30 will be split, team and double singles. And the tournament will run again February through July. A lot of great times still available. So get on there, register now. Some great incentives. New tiered pricing structure. Championships cash. Going to go back to many, many bowlers. The opportunity to get some money to spend on site. Check out those details on bowl.com. Aaron, we saw a great game two. Big numbers after a little bit of a slow start. And hopefully we're not seeing what's the start of the game three blues here as the lanes transition. Shady still throwing that ebonite pivot, moving left, however, quite a bit. So the crowd has disappeared a little bit, but so much going on inside the National Bowling Stadium this year. Of course, we mentioned earlier the Storm Bowlers Journal Championships being held on lanes 69 through 78. A great opportunity to get loose, get yourself a tune-up, and possibly win some extra prize money competing on this very same doubles and singles pattern. Or you can go downstairs, check out the Columbia 340 frame game. It's an entertaining, fun handicap singles tournament for you and your teammates to kick back, have a beverage or two, and have some fun. Of course, that event being held at the Track Showcase Lanes. Track also the official sponsor of this year's live stream broadcast from the USBC Open Championships. But the Track Showcase Lanes, your opportunity to have a team practice session on the team lane condition. Just $125 for an hour for up to 10 of you to get down there and get things situated before you hit the lanes for your team event. So all of those details can be found on bowl.com because we put them there.
Fact. finish in game 2. Still got a few strikes up there, but looks like a little head scratching going on for a few of these guys. I think Jeff thought that last one might have been close, and leaves the 2-8. Flat 10 for Steve there.
McDowell still looking for his first strike here in game number 3. We saw him go to that pearlized ball or at the end of game number 2. He got a couple of light hits, and again goes a little bit light, leaves the 7 only. See, he's strikeless here. He's around the pocket, but being around the pocket isn't going to get him to the top of the standings here. 2014. Shady goes high, leaves the 6-10. Kegel is the official lane maintenance provider for our USBC tournaments and has provided us with this fine ice oil that we've been using since 2013. And another game changer, I think, here at the Open Championships, because it defies everything you think you know about lane breakdown and transition. Keeps you on your toes. Moves are much different on the ice oil. The transition can either help you out or crush your dreams. We've seen it both ways. Our regular singles leader, Lewis Jenkins Jr., had 527 in doubles, and the shot came to him. And he shot 826 with a 300 game in singles. So as easily as it can come to you, it can go away just as quickly. That's why, again, it's a true test of versatility. 2 challenging patterns. And a lot of teamwork and communication needed to make your way through 6 games. You have to navigate an invisible defense.
Richter mixes them up there. 3 out of 4 to start game 3. The fast 8 for Jeff.
Again, we kick things off here in Reno on February 28th, and the USBC Open Championships this year will run until July 13th, but we'll have so much fun along the way. It's already been a blast here in 2014. For the 2nd consecutive year and the 2nd time in history, the USBC Women's Championships also being held in the same host city at the same time. The WC being held at the Reno Sparks Convention Center across town. That was the home of the Open Championships in 1977, 1984, and 1990. 44 lanes installed for the Women's Championships. That event kicked off April 11th. Will run until June 30th. We also saw the X-Bowling Intercollegiate Team and Singles Championships come our way. And the USBC Queens and Senior Queens will be held at the National Bowling Stadium at the end of June, followed by the USBC Senior Championships. So I say it at least once a broadcast and many times outside of the TV booth here. But if it's happening in bowling in 2014, it's happening in Reno. So many opportunities and the great chance to come and bowl multiple events with just one reasonably priced plane ticket.
Our last live stream did take place at the RSCC, as we like to call it. As we talk about an exciting finish to the live stream. Broadcasting the team event of the 2013 Scratch Team Champions, Eagles Edge Pro Shop. They were back to, well, kind of put their title back on the line. Some changes to the Women's Championships. First time ever in the 95-year history of the event, going from 5-player to 4-player teams, and some new divisions as well. But Joey Biondo and her talented crew out of Illinois held off their crossing team as they traded strikes down the stretch in the third game to end up 1-2 in the standings. Joey also went on to take the Division I all events lead, looking to make it a title in 4 consecutive women's championships tournaments. So we had some excitement on the broadcast. A great finish to that. Some fantastic bowling all around, and we'll see if these guys can perform as well.
All right, there's a nice break for Richter. As the single pin falls late for the double and 4 out of 5. Shady looking to get back on track. The mixer, the 5 pin the last to go. Aaron would say, he saws the nickel.
You got to appreciate when it happens, because I don't do it very often, because usually that stands with the 4 pin. It's pretty embarrassing, actually. I don't know why I brought it up.
McDowell with the break gets the 10 to go. So the light mixer has turned into a half pocket, almost leaves the half 10. So he's in the neighborhood too. Gets a nice break there for his first strike here in game number 3. 202, 244, and it's transition time here in the finale.
We saw this a lot last year, as you mentioned. The third game blues saw some teams get out to fantastic starts in games 1 and 2. And as last year's 39-foot pattern started to break down a little bit, and Will moved around the time it took to find the right look. Left a lot of teams we thought were going to put up some big numbers a little bit short. Only 4 1400s total in the 2013 event. We got a few more this year, so including our leading score, 1465.
A close call yesterday, 1425. Certainly a tough task to get 2 guys, especially on the fresh. And it looks like the wrist gives out. Richgels drops that one at the foul line, either off his ankle maybe, onto his foot, something. That's going to leave a mark, Mr. Smith. There's a souvenir to take home from Reno this year. Maybe he lost it off his hand into his ankle. It's good teamwork.
Well, didn't lose count, just working on, and it looks like, I don't think he caught his, not sure if it caught the ankle or not, but tough to tell looking at the replay. But no count lost, just working on the one strike.
Tough spare on these sport bowling lane conditions, and there it is. Leaves the 4 only for 7-2. He's looking at the ankle, stretching it, doing something. Heard Richgels uses at one time in his career the one-finger sling. I'm not sure what he calls that last shot. Shady leaves a mess.
Something came around here, only took out the head pin. The rack caught it before it had a chance to fall, so a skinny washout there.
McDowell, the lumberjack, saw on the nickel as well. Shady's gonna try to clean up what he did out there on lane 43. The 1-2-10. Even the machine thought it should have turned out better. Gave him 8 instead of 7. With the spare. Doesn't matter, but we'll get it correct anyway. And the pivot is going back in the bag. So for Shady, as he's moving left, that pivot just didn't want to finish. So it's time to go to the bag. If I'm going to guess, I'm going to say either a different pivot or the pivot point. Something with a little bit of shine. Something that's going to make the turn down lane. Now that they've smoothed it out, created some room to the right, it's getting to that time. Richgels goes light again.
Looks like he's still trying to work out that ankle.
Aaron, after a pretty good, almost great game number 2.
Yeah, the pace has definitely slowed up a little bit here.
Not for Steve Richter. He's throwing pins all over the place, but these guys are in that spot. They need to talk through this one and start preparing themselves and the lanes for a run in singles. Team All Events inching away.
Looks like Shady did go to the pivot point and finds better results.
Yeah, a little better finish on the back end. That's the general idea. It's nice when things work out how they're supposed to. as we learned in 2011 from this very team, if it's possible on paper, it's more than possible on the scoreboard. It's just going to take a whole lot of work. McDowell's ready to do work. It's 3 in a row. Choking on my words is so exciting. Just the possibilities, they're endless. Geffert, we haven't said much about Dan here in doubles, but he's been solid to 11-2-0-3, bowling with Gail Myers Jr. They are well into the cash number already. If you want to see the loaded cash numbers, you can visit bowl.com, go to the Open Championships page, and click on the Scores tab. You'll see all of that and more.
Oh, another 8-pin.
Gail Myers can't believe his eyes, and he's got 4 of them. Unbelievable. The stone 8 takes off his glasses. Beware of projectiles. Can't throw it any better. He said, maybe it's just the glasses. I can't see so well. But no, that's the second 8-pin we've seen on that lane. Richter had one earlier.
Back in game 2.
We've got red strikes to our right. Michael Walters. Says, I'm tired of those guys getting all the attention.
Yeah, bounced back nicely after a rough start in the opener. 146, came back with 228. Now looking at the front 7.
We appreciate everybody joining us. This is Matt Canizar and Aaron Smith live at the 2014 USBC Open Championships. We are behind lanes 43 and 44 here at the National Bowling Stadium. If you're nearby and you want to see some great bowling, come and spend the day. Bring your flashlight and your tent and you can camp out. As we've got great bowlers on the lanes from here until the middle of the night.
Looks like these guys have migrated a little further left. Getting a little closer to the 4th arrow here in game 3.
We saw last night in the team event the need to move left, and with Richgels' wrist, a bit of a challenge, I think, for him to get left and get the ball to make the right moves. McDowell, no problem wheeling and dealing a little bit there for the 4-bagger. See if Shady's ball change can pay off here on the left lane. Left the washout before making the switch. Great shot, but number 7 refuses to cooperate.
Upper decker 7, if you will. Yeah, definitely some hits for these guys. They wouldn't mind having right now. A few 8-pins, 7-pin like that. That, as we said before, earlier in this telecast, and at every telecast, you need to catch the hits as well when you're eagle hunting here at the Open Championships. I think that's frowned upon
Out in the real world.
in the wildlife, but
Yes.
and here that is the goal. Right now, stepping up on 46, Michael Walters. One pair to our right, looking for number 8.
Great
Delivers.
shot. I believe Walters was the one who suffered the back injury, maybe, in recent years. But also a very important part of this 10-person group. 11thframe.com, 1 and 2. Continued success on the championship lanes, working together. Gail Myers after the 8-pin on the left, 7-pin on the right. This was no tap, he'd be perfect here. We should try that one here. Hold the Open Championships, no tap.
Right, Richter's still using that Marvel Pearl. And it's working just fine. He says, thank you. I'll take another.
High flush for 3 in a row. All right, so let's get settled in here. 10th frame coming right up. For a big finish here, then Aaron Smith will calculate the numbers for you. See what it's going to take in singles. It's going to be a big number, certainly. 3,400 range, maybe more. 10,363, the number on top of the team all event standings. Jans HI. Individual all events, 2273, Anthony Lacaze. And regular singles, Lewis Jenkins Jr., 826.
Richters mixes them up for the double. So it's 214 out there. 237 for Gail. Shady can still get to 207. 225 for McDowell and 258 for Richter, still possible.
Shady goes light, leaves the 2-8. Again, made a ball change a couple frames ago to the ebonite pivot point. Looks like with a little bit of surface or some, definitely the shine taking off. There's Michael Walters up on lane 45. You can see his ball going down the lane. He's got the front 8. And a solid career for him here at the Open Championships, looking for 9 in a row. And he goes light, leaves the 2-pin. And Aaron, it might have been Howery who had the back injury and toughed it out a couple of years ago. Either way, these guys have been through quite a bit. A lot of years between the 10 of them. A lot of experience, and as you mentioned, of the 10 guys, 8 Eagle winners. And many more Eagles than just that number. They've been together 9 of the 10 since 1998. It's a long time to do anything together.
Certainly so, and of course, these Wisconsin groups not only tend to come out here together and enforce and find a way to contend every year. They compete together on the state and local levels all together as a team. Obviously, Mike Shady from Pennsylvania unable to do so, so I know they have a few guys who help out, but the main 4 guys are Gail, Steve, Jeff, and Marc tend to be 4 out of the 5 for just about every event. So,
well, it certainly is a process for these guys, and it starts with registration, which usually kicks off at the start of March now. Jeff Richtels is one of the first to always sign up, get his teams locked in for their date and time. It is real time, so you pick from what's available at that moment. If you're the first one in, then obviously you'll get whatever you'd like. And then the real preparation starts when this year's lane condition or conditions are unveiled just before opening day. That's when Steve Richter gets to work on the details, and his hard work paying off here in game number 3. He's got 7 out of 9. Richgels leaving the 1-2-4 again. Missed it earlier in this game. Certainly not a gimme on this 40-foot lane condition. Gets it that time. So with a strike on the fill, he'll be at 191. And just over 600 here in doubles. That 600 is going to need to be 800 in singles if they're going to make a run at this thing. Steve Richter trying to keep him in it. Whoops. 7-10. Great shot there. The worst break you can get. In the worst place for it. Coming at the end of a 3-bagger. Richgels ball change. The gold ball leaves the bucket for 187. That's kind of been the move though. As you get into singles and late singles, get left with something that's going to get through the front part of the lane pretty well and make a move when it hits the friction on the back. Polarized balls are certainly good for that. Very clean through the front. Good response off the friction. Now's the time to experiment. Get for 223. Richter finishes with 224. Gail Myers 222. Richgels 187. Aaron feverishly typing away on his calculator. These guys threw enough strikes to get the pick up the pace message taken away. There's a small victory in itself. So a great game 2, followed by a challenging game 3 here. Myers and Gepford, that's a casher, 1298. Shady for the double, possible 195 out there. He'll be just over 100 over.
Looks like he's seeing what's in the bag as well.
Looks like a raid coming out of the bag.
I think that's what he used last year for the 783.
Old Faithful. Going back to the 2007, 2008 time frame. Very popular cover stock, the 12.7, also used on the angular one. He's gonna make a move left and hope that, find that down lane reaction he's been looking for.
So it goes to Old Faithful for an old-fashioned strike. How about that?
Again, these guys just making the moves through their bags, going from the solid with a little bit of surface to start, smooth them out, tame down that back end reaction, and then start creeping left. A little bit of shine. A little bit of shine. That's Lewis Jenkins' group. Lewis Jenkins, our regular singles leader. We're going to say that name a few times here during the next 3 games. Richter and Richgels finished with 1247. And McDowell and Shady 1268. So right now it looks like Shady is at plus 114 or so. Of course, his entire career has never shot under 1900. So he's ahead of that pace right now and tends to really step it up in singles. All right, so a little bit of misunderstanding there with the scoreboard situation. Gail Myers a little bit anxious to get into singles and continue his run. Threw a good shot, got a strike, but that's not going to count. Hopefully that's the right rule. Don't want to be the guy that is responsible for making that mistake.
Shoot last night for the team.
35-02.
Did you have a chance at him?
Oh yeah, last game, a little rough last game. 10-80 last game.
Oh, no. How fast did they change after the first game?
Not bad. Steady. Just steady. They were nice.
All right, now that we got everyone on the right lane and the scoreboard correct, let's take a first look at Marc McDowell here in singles. As a team, after doubles, these guys posted 31.76, leaving them 3,685 pins outside of the team all events lead of 10,363 by Jans HI, Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. So basically, these guys have to go out, average more than 245 a guy if they want to unseat their fellow Wisconsin bowlers. Once again, Matt has mentioned it several times. Can't count these guys out until it's official. Had the then record highest game in tournament history in 2011 right here at the National Bowling Stadium to help capture the team lead, which ended up being enough to hold on after some close calls to claim the regular team title. So we'll see what these guys can muster up. In singles. Through two events, Steve Richter leading the way, 1391, followed by Marc McDowell, 1367, Gail Myers, 1366, Mike Shady, 1314, and Jeff Richgels, 1240. shot comes in light for Mike Shady, making the ball change to the Ebonite Rage. Something I would describe as Old Faithful. I believe it was the same ball he used last year in singles on his way to a 783 set and a top 5 finish. So there's a double for McDowell. These guys are going to need a few more just like that.
All right, Mr. Smith, so we're getting settled in here for 3 more games. And it's going to take a bunch. Have you already put the word out, given the numbers?
I have given the number, but one more time, why not? They posted a 31.76 in doubles. Need 36.85.
Holy moly.
In singles, so 737 apiece, 245. And some change to get there.
That was a good break there for Richter. We've seen them all bowl that well. Now it's just a matter of putting it all together.
Well, I mentioned the finish in 2011 with the then record highest game to claim the title, and definitely can't count these guys out.
I thought they were a little fired up yesterday after seeing Storm Cincinnati jump ahead of them in that single game mark. Storm Cincinnati shot 12.85 in its final game. And Richgels and crew had 12.81, now third on the all-time team high game list. And they came out of the gate strong with back-to-back 1200s. Thought they were going 3,600 for sure. Struggled in game 3 to 10.83 and a 35.02 number. So perhaps that motivating them even more coming into doubles and singles. Knowing they can get there, they've been around 10,000 many times and certainly have the experience and the know-how. Now having to put it together. We've seen crazier things happen here in the championship lanes. Everybody now in singles. 826, the number they're chasing, Lewis Jenkins Jr. That included one of 18 300 games. 19, that's right, we had one last night as well. We have yet to put that story up on bowl.com. It'll be up later this afternoon. Check out the recap of all of this year's 300s on the Open Championships page. That's what we do here. We put out the word, the news, tell the world about what happens here on a daily basis. Appreciate everybody sticking with us. We're in game 4 of 6. Some familiar names. Mark London checking in. He'll be on the live stream broadcast here pretty soon. If you want to check out the rest of that schedule, you can visit bowl.com. The main page is on the right-hand side of your screen, down at the bottom. or you can go to the tournament page, click on the information tab, and you'll find that and so much more.
Yeah, Marc's live stream 12 days away, I believe. I think that's on the 29th, but our next one will be our defending doubles champions. And the nickel stands. How does that happen? I mean, when I do it, it makes sense because you know, all the rev I put on it. But unbelievably tough break there for Richter to go along with an 8-pin. A few other not so kind hits as well.
Well, he did get a late hit on the 9 on his last shot. So it all does even out. Typically, of course, he finished his last game of doubles with the 7-10. Undeserved for sure. Also looks like Shady was not happy with that fill ball change, so he went back to the pivot point.
Yeah, he threw it the first 3 frames here in singles and came up light in the second, high in the third. He said nay, nay after that.
So 737 a guy. That is a big number. And as we've seen, the pins go away quickly. And before you know it, it's out of reach. So we'll see. A couple miscues here early for the 11thframe.com folks. Looking to hold on to a top 10 finish in team event. Right now, 5th. 6 3500s this year. A lot of great teams yet to bowl.
Including our defending champions, Lodge Lanes 2, scheduled for June 10th.
Yeah, those guys trying something a little bit different. For as far as anybody can remember, John Gaines has bowled early in the event, March or April at the earliest or the latest, and always put up the number for others to chase. This time, the numbers will be up there, way up there, when those guys roll into town to try to make it back-to-back in the team event. There's Richter cleaning up the 10-pin. Back-to-back 9 spares for him. We'll have a much clearer picture in just a few frames of how things are looking. They'll need almost 3,700 here in singles.
So you're saying we'll have to wait till the 11th frame to find out?
Holy moly.
That's why we don't charge for Bowl TV, folks.
Wonder why it's the 11th frame and not the 13th frame. I can see for us, because
We need all the help we can get, including extra frames.
well, we don't see the 11th and 12th frames very often. Usually we'll have a disastrous 10th and then call it a day. Great shot there by Richgels. He's 3 out of 4 here. Gail Myers waiting on the ball return.
message has been sent.
That problem quickly taken care of by the staff here at the National Bowling Stadium. We're behind lanes 43 and 44 right now. This beautiful 78 lane facility, and it is currently undergoing a facelift. $15 million being spent to upgrade the National Bowling Stadium. Started downstairs on the ground floor in 2012. The addition of a satellite Hall of Fame and museum. And there's one not for the museum. 710 for Shady on the right lane. The museum coming just in time for the 2012 USBC Women's Championships. And great place to check out some of the events and the sports history. And of course, last year, the addition of the track showcase lanes, also on the ground floor, the home of the Columbia 340 frame game, and your opportunity to practice on the team lane condition. This year, we were welcomed by a remodeled squad room. Very nice decor and plenty of room for the bowlers now. After we're done here, all 78 lanes are going to be replaced just in time for the Women's Championships to return in 2015. And of course, the OC will be back a year later. And some other big things planned for the concourse here. This venue opened in 1995. They just got new masking units for the very first time since opening day nearly 2 decades ago. So the city really stepping up and putting some time and effort into this fine facility. A lot of great memories here for us and for Jeff Richgels and his crew. Maybe not in 2014, but they did bowl their highest team score. Gotta feel pretty good about that, even though it is currently 5th in the standings.
Something, one of the few things these guys haven't accomplished yet was a 3,500, so check that off the bucket list.
The bucket list, very short list for some. Shady goes high, leaves the 4-pin. Yeah, I don't want to say his streak of 1900s is in jeopardy, but he's just ahead of that pace through 6 games. So he's going to need to at least stay even.
586 to maintain the streak, so 13-14 I believe was his total after 6.
McDowell with the open frame now. So 3 out of the 5 guys with an open here. First game of singles. Again, they're going to need to average 737 apiece. They're going to hit that team all events mark.
Seen some higher scores in singles this year compared to last year. 795 was enough to take home the title. We've already had 2 800s. Of course, Louis Jenkins Jr. with the 826, and Chris Murray out of San Jose, 802. Also had a 798 by Jeff Grego out of Indiana. folks have been able to set up this pattern a little bit better, or at least find a better look. That we talked about Lewis earlier, nearly improving his score by 300 pins, and he did that all in just the second game. But even for Chris, had 590s in doubles, and then made the right ball change and got into the right part of the lane. Shot nothing but 260s on his way to that 802.
Well, Aaron, I just looked up at the scoreboard there to see Jeff Riggles with 6 out of 7 strikes. And he's got 5 eagles. He's in the Hall of Fame. But the one thing he hasn't won here at the Open Championships is singles. And maybe because he's a team player, maybe because he's getting up in years and gets a little bit tired. But the one that has escaped him. And we've had a few folks at the Women's Championships kind of complete that whole Grand Slam. But Jeff Riggles, a singles title away from one of each, at least.
Jeff definitely knows how to strike in singles. That all events title in '97 had to put up a huge final 2 games, I believe in the 530s or 540s, and was able to do so. On his way to that 2241, the eagle, and 90 clean.
Aaron, a lot of folks were curious as to why we did not show the team event last night for 11thframe.com. And well, again, they're the only group that's been on all 5 years of live streaming here at the Open Championships. And we've seen the team event 4 consecutive times. Wanted to mix it up a little bit and see their strategy in lane play and see what they could do in doubles and singles. So of course, by Murphy's Law, they bowled exceptionally well in the team event and having a little bit of a rough day here in doubles singles. And had we shown last night's team event, it would have been the other way for sure. But we want to mix it up a little bit every year, and we try to showcase as many different things and different groups and as possible, just to keep it fresh and exciting here at the Open Championships.
Yes, our timing has been off the past 2 years. Obviously, big single set for Shady last year. I know from just talking to these guys and hashtag read the blog that made them a little wet dry in team last year, playing on top of each other a little bit too much. They needed a little more variance in angles, similar to what Lodge Lanes did on their way to that 35-38 winning total. But 32-40, I believe, was their number last year. Still a nice number. Certainly this year put on a show for a big crowd on hand. The grandstand seating, that's about as filled as it gets during the tournaments when Jeff Riggles and company come to town. Folks not only enjoy seeing how the pattern, seeing how they break down the pattern, but just the overall talent of this group is unmatched by most everybody. So this is about as good as it gets.
When they get on a roll, certainly there's a lot of energy in this group, a lot of fire. Riggles doesn't hide his emotions. Perhaps as we get through singles here, we'll see some of that fire. Big numbers needed here for a run at anything here in 2014. High flush for Shady for the double. These guys are around the pocket. They're in 4-pin city as well, so missed by a little bit, a little extra fingers at the bottom. Could be bad news. Don't have any room for 4 pins.
I thought 4-pin was a township, not a city. I have to go to the official website.
If we were in Louisiana again, like we will be in 2025, that'd be the 4-pin parish. But either way, you want to stay out of that side of town. Jeff Richgels kind of listened. Just the 4 to go, but leaves the 9.
Well, we are on the corner of 4th Street and Center, so it's all coming together. Richter turns on the big wheel there. Mixes them up. 238 still out there for Steve. Dan 237. McDowell 236. Gail 239. Jeff 233.
Time to do
and
some work.
Shady 226. So big 9th and 10th frame here wouldn't put him out of it just yet.
A little bit of love on the 10 there for McDowell. Kind of
the slow roller.
So he kind of flat on the entry, but gets the break. But if he's going to keep creeping left, not sure that ball's going to make the turn like it needs to. There's a reason he's out there. He's got a PBA banner hanging up at his house, and we're sitting back here with headsets and ties on, so.
5-time PBA Tour champion. Shady also has a PBA title. I want to say they actually won them back-to-back, or it was back-to-back weeks. McDowell had, I believe, 3 titles in the '92 season. That was the year Shady won his.
They were winning PBA titles. I was playing Little League Baseball. And you, sir, were probably potty training back then.
Thanks.
But here we all are at the National Bowling Stadium. Lanes 43 and 44. Looking for a little magic once again. Gail Myers says no. Chops the 3 off to 3-6-10 for 202. Once again, 7:37 apiece. Needed to catch Jan's HI. Richgels with 3 consecutive 9 spares. Good count puts him in the 220s. be no singles title this year for Gail Myers Jr. or Jeff Richgels or Mike Shady or Dan Gepford. Richter and McDowell still mathematically in it. Will require quite a few strikes.
Back-to-back games with a split in the 10th frame for Steve Richter.
Now, Aaron, it might seem like we're giving these guys a hard time as we progress through these 6 games, but we all go way back, a decade now on the tournament lanes. We've seen a lot, been through a lot, told a lot of stories. Of course, 10 of the biggest supporters of the Open Championships, Jeff Richgels and his 11thframe.com blog, always there to share the news and notes from the tournament lanes. We appreciate their support and continued dedication, and some good-natured ribbing here and there, but nothing but the utmost respect for what these gentlemen have accomplished in their careers and their place in Open Championships history. One already in the Hall of Fame, Jeff Richgels, and a lot of talk already down the road for the rest of the crew, but still so much talent and so much time. And they proved that last night, making a run at the team standings, 35-02. Their best effort as a group. They still got it. So here doing some math, Shady finishes with 190. And mathematically, at least on this pair, singles is safe. Get ready for the final shot here. McDowell's gonna put some tape in the ball, get it comfortable. Possible 215 out there with the strike on the fill. Got Dustin Barnett, the DVD guy, nearby. If your team is not going to be live streamed at this year's Open Championships, but you'd like to have a souvenir, you can get each event or all 3 events recorded by our fine photography and video staff. Just stop by their booth and they'll get you set up. The more events you do, the more copies you buy, the better the deal. Also a good photo and video discount as part of the VIP package. If you're curious about coming out and being a VIP at the Open Championships, not that all bowlers aren't VIPs to us, but there's actually a VIP program. They get you some terrific benefits, including a sweet polo shirt, VIP locker, in and out privileges. That is very valuable, especially here at the NBS with so many events going on. Discounts at Bowling Ball Express, USBC Photography. Get a go-round at the Storm Bowlers Journal Championships with your VIP package. That includes a subscription to Bowlers Journal magazine. You also get your choice of a 90-minute coaching session with Mike Jasnow, USBC Silver Coach, or a 1-hour practice session for your entire team downstairs on the track showcase lanes. So right there, those last 2 items, certainly worth the value of the package. So you can check out details on that, bowl.com/VIP. Don't be left behind. And with that, game 1 in the books. 2:15 for Gepfert, 2:01 for Richter. McDowell 2:15, Gail Myers 2:02, Jeff Richgels 2:22, and Mike Shady needs 586 to keep his streak of 1900s intact. 190. Aaron is typing away on the calculator. We'll have an update for you in just a minute. They came into singles needing 737 apiece, almost 3,700 to track down Jan's HI for that team all events number of 10,363.
They finished that game up at 10:30, putting them at plus 708 overall.
So they came into doubles and singles 3 pins ahead of the pace set by Jan's HI. The Jan's guys shot 34.99, had the team lead for all of 24 hours, but bowled very well in doubles and singles to get to that number, nearly a record. Lost a few pins on single pin miscues, but have been on top of the standings ever since. A big, intimidating number. These guys needed to match their effort in order to get there.
Well, it's still possible on paper. You're going to need to average 266 a guy.
Well, 2 out of 3 with strikes in frame number 1. I've seen them all bowl 266 here at some point. Now we just need them all to do it twice in a row. Of our Game 2 station identification. Today's broadcast brought to you by Track. All of our live stream broadcasts from the USBC Open Championships this year. Sponsored by Track. You want to check out that schedule? It's on bowl.com. You go to the Open Championships page, click on the information tab, or the main page of the site. Down on the right-hand side of the screen, it has all of our great live stream coverage that's coming up. Globetrotting Lucas Wiseman will be on the move. USBC Queens coming up at the end of June. We'll be here for that. Then we get into Junior Gold Championships. Aaron Smith will head to Buffalo, New York to cover that one. Then later this summer, the World Youth Championships from Hong Kong. So looking forward to an exciting few months of bowling action from around the world. But right now, it's all about 11thframe.com. We're live at the National Bowling Stadium. Behind lanes 43 and 44, Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith. Gail Myers leaves another 9-pin. As Aaron said, these guys have to average 266 the rest of the way to get to that team all events number. Richter with the double. Pins sure do seem to go away quickly sometimes. Full house today for this 11 a.m. doubles and singles squad. We're using 3 to 64. Using 1 and 2 as a breakdown pair. And the Bowlers Journal Championships going on right now, lanes 69 through 78. So a lot happening here at the National Bowling Stadium. If you're a competitive bowler, this is the place to be. We've seen a lot of ladies in town this week to compete at both main national tournaments, taking advantage of some of the side events as well. So a lot you can do in one trip to Reno this year. Next year you'll have the opportunity to visit us in El Paso, Texas for the Open Championships, while the WC Women's Championships returns to the NBS and will be joined by, for the first time, the USBC Mixed. A great opportunity for families to travel and bowl together. Families and friends can get out there on the lanes, and if you're on the fence about competing at an event like the Open Championships, perhaps the USBC Mixed is a good starting point, an opportunity to test the waters a little bit, as that event will have 4 average base divisions for team and 6 for doubles and singles, and it will mirror the format and divisions at the Women's Championships. So if you're a lower average bowler looking to get into the tournament scene, want to see what it's like to travel across the country and compete at a great national event in a great venue, walk down center aisle, the USBC Mixed is your opportunity. Registration for the Mixed and the USBC Women's Championships will begin on June 3rd. You can find out more details soon on bowl.com. Of course, down the road, after El Paso, the Open Championships returns to the National Bowling Stadium in 2016. Then we'll head to a brand new facility in Las Vegas in 2017. South Point, building a $30 million 60-lane venue that will host many USBC events in the coming years. And then 2018, we'll head east. You wanted it, you got it. We're going to Syracuse. Can't get much more east than that. And the Women's Championships also will be on the move. We'll head to Las Vegas in 2016, Baton Rouge in 2017, Wichita for its 100th anniversary in 2019, and on to Mobile, Alabama in 2021. Right now, Steve Richter and the guys trying to stay in it, but the back row not cooperating here in game 2 of singles. Myers had a 9-pin on that right lane. Richter matches the effort, but running out of room. Speak up.
I needed volume. Thank you.
It's good teamwork there.
That's what it's all about. Just like how the lanes works the same way in the live stream booth. So when one of us breaks the camera, the other one can fix it.
Fact. And when we're both off, because Jessica's coming in tonight, and Storm Cincinnati makes a run at Team All events, we'll both be back here to help with that. It's good teamwork. That's what makes the other half of the year so boring. Once we're done here, it's back to cubicle life with only the 9 a.m. meeting to look forward to, and perhaps the lunch out. The pace of play at home much, much slower than the excitement of the Open and Women's Championships being here in the trenches. Right now, we're just feet away from the action. And I am seriously considering recording the sound of the pinfall and taking it back to the office so everybody in headquarters can enjoy what we enjoy for 6 months of the year. Marc McDowell just in front of us, working on a ball change, going to the ebonite source, trying to make it feel good.
Yes, this is truly a unique office to call home every day. Of course, the Reno Sparks Convention Center, the custom-built 44-lane facility as Riggs mixes them up there. Makes it 3 in a row. But yeah, even from the moment right now, we got a full squad. We are from lanes 3 all the way to 64 here at the Open Championships. Looks like a full squad over at the Bowlers Journal as well. But even when there's no one here like last night, even here well after the last squad finished up, the only one in the house, it's still a pretty magical place to be in. For those of you who have maybe yet to make your Open Championships debut or have never made out to the National Bowling Stadium, certainly a sight to put on the list.
But hurry, time flies. We're well past the halfway point now. Kicked off February 28th. We'll only be here until July 13th. Our good friend, Mr. Emil Williams Jr. has threatened to come out and visit us during the early part of July. We hope he does. Get the team back together. Perhaps he can get here in time to celebrate the Independence Day with us, as we sure know how to make the most of that day. Perhaps bowl in the employee tournament or hopefully get a spot in this year's Open Championships as a substitute. Trying our best to get him to come visit. He's moved on to become the voice of Chicago State basketball. And it all started here in the live stream booth at the Open Championships. Not really true, but we certainly played a role.
Well, he was the one with talent in the booth, so.
Yes. And now all we're left with is 2 guys who know how to set up the gear and run the computer. But what we lack in talent, we make up in dedication, so that has to count for something. We might not be good at it, but we're always going to be here.
That's true, and we appreciate all the folks who have made an effort to stop and say hi. Had a few folks contact us Twitter or Facebook to swing by their lanes. Got to meet a few of those folks, so always cool to meet folks, put faces to names, and we always appreciate the support as well.
Sometimes I do feel a little bit bad though when somebody tries to stop us and we're on the way to something, whether it's a big score or to live stream or to get to the Women's Championships. And if only there was more time in the day to sit down and chat and catch up with everybody, but we do appreciate the hellos. Hello. Once again, 11thframe.com, 2005 Team All Events winner. 2011 regular team. So many other great accomplishments mixed in during their time here at the championship lanes. Right now, they're going to need to find some of that championship magic. Need to average 266 if they're going to add another title to the list.
Well, if they strike out this game, so far so good. They can maintain everyone ahead of pace so far. As I say that.
Third 7-10 on that lane. That one, a light mixer. So a couple of really good shots, but Richter and Shady, I believe, each with one. So
there's low on 44, yep.
Some unfortunate carry, some 8 pins and 9 pins today, but also some breaks. They rolled a few 10 pins, sawed a couple 5 pins, so it certainly evens out. But you don't usually think of it that way. You just remember that 7-10. Understandable. Aaron, it looks like we've gone global once again. Scotland checking in the chat room. Thanks for joining us. Really, two things that we look forward to here are the broad reach of Bowl TV and the validation on Facebook when you see that Brad Smith has liked one of your posts.
Riggs is flexing after that 5-pin, blowing the thumb after that one.
Wide right for Richter. Doesn't make the turn. Lucky to leave just the 2. Sticking with that Marvel Pearl. Great shape. Ball's rolling great all day. Just got that one fast and to the right. Certainly when it comes down to these sport certified lane conditions, shot making at a premium. Got to be accurate. Definitely have to make your spares. Just throw it that well, you don't have to worry about this second shot.
Well, if there was any doubt of Mike Shady not continuing the 1900 streak, he's attempting to put that far out of reach here in Game 2 of singles, Game 5 of the day, Game 8 of 9. 5 out of 6.
Shady just likes to be dramatic. Go for the big finish.
I want to say he struggled in doubles last year.
Well, struggling by Shady standards and our standards, totally different.
Very true.
A bad year for these guys is a career year for us. As we see some other champions walking by just now.
Women's Championships titleists.
And current leaders.
Current leaders. John K. Arman, Tina Becky.
They've been in town for a while. Joey Biondo, the leader of that group.
Still scheduled to bowl at the Open Championships and I believe Sunday, Monday for them.
We saw Joey's husband Vince, champion here in the building earlier. Again, as we said, a lot of great players yet to come. Just past the halfway point as far as days, but so many players still scheduled. And a rough frame here for 11thframe.com. Steve Richter with a mess to clean up.
Possibly overcompensated after getting the last one too far right. Sends that one through the nose. 3, 4, 6, 7, 10.
McDowell had to open as well. Gail Myers wide right. It's in that spot where that easily could have been a 210, but just like Richter a frame ago. lucky to leave only the 2. Richter goes to the bag. Looks like the uproar from Roto Grip.
I'll have to agree with you there, Mr. Canizaro.
These guys are running out of room, running out of tricks and tools. But again, a down year by their standards, potentially a career year for the rest of us. Butch Cooper, despite the LSU logo, welcome to the chat room, Mr. Cooper. Big hand, a big crowd on hand. We appreciate it. This is Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith. You're watching live coverage from the 2014 USBC Open Championships. Been here all day. One of nearly 30 broadcasts from Reno this year. There's a Hall of Fame shot from Jeff Richgels, 5-time champion and official spokesperson of Diet Mountain Dew.
As well as the Sands Regency.
I'm surprised those logos aren't on their jerseys. Sands Regency, the official bracket sponsor of the USBC Open Championships and the host hotel for 11thframe.com.
Shirts are just sticking to bowling, so a lot of logos on there. See the Inside Bowling with our good friend Mike Flanagan.
Aaron, a lot of people don't know that Gail Myers is a softball stud. Very active in the softball community. A 2-sport athlete.
I heard he shines on the mound. Curious if it's the same approach to get the softball down as he gets the bowling ball to take out all 10.
Shady with another single pin spare. Best he can shoot is 259. At this point, get all you can. But not gonna get all the way there. Richter still 231 possible. McDowell 235. Gail Myers 236. Richgels 247. And Shady, as we said, 259, but they need to average 266 their last 2 games. 10,000 still a fantastic possibility and kind of the benchmark. Here at the Open Championships now, the standards have been raised a little bit as the game has changed, equipment has changed.
Oil has changed.
Fact.
Game planning for the tournament has changed. It's become more evolved.
It's a full-time job for some of these guys.
The ability to practice and get to know the patterns, especially here on site at the track showcase lanes downstairs, where you can, even up to 10 of your teammates can get a look at the team pattern, as well as the Storm Bowlers Journal Championship on the high end of the house, which features this 40-foot sport-compliant doubles and singles pattern.
Well, Aaron, hard work pays off. That is a fact. There's no question about it. And we've seen some very talented young collegiate bowlers come through this year, and sport bowling is all they know. They've grown up, they've evolved, they've progressed through the stages of USBC from the junior gold championships to college bowling, often high school bowling as well. And they've seen conditions regularly as challenging, if not tougher, than they'll see here at the Open Championships. And they come out here absolutely prepared, and they understand the concept and then what it's going to take and team play and all of the factors that come in. And I think more folks, instead of seeing that and being intimidated, should go out there and work on it as well, because it's just pretty easy just to give up rather than want to put in the extra work to stay relevant. But we'd love to see more people challenge themselves and look to improve, seek out tougher lane conditions and sport bowling. Some of the great benefits and fantastic awards available.
We'll see some of those collegiate superstars right here on Bowl TV. Less than 10 days. We'll be featuring doubles and singles of this year's Player of the Year, A.J. Johnson, along with Robert Morris, Illinois' Matt Gasson. Some very other talented players, Matt O'Grady,
Anthony Pepe,
Andrew Koff, former Team USA superstar.
Some talented ladies as well.
Junior Team USA, I should say, for Andrew. But and then Brittany Hamilton, I believe, was in that group, among others. The 2014 team trials winner, who's had extensive amount of time on Team USA over the years. And yeah, we'll get to see their doubles and singles and see how they make their run.
It's a nice way to spend the Memorial Day weekend, certainly, watching bowling and the future of the sport. Right now we're watching a pretty good chunk of history here at the Open Championships. A lot of tradition and success on this pair of lanes. 11thframe.com. 8 Eagle winners on their 2 teams, and a whole lot of Eagles total. Jeff Richters has 5 all by himself.
Richter with 3, so that gives him 8, and then McDowell, Myers, and Shady 2 apiece, so 14 Eagles.
And that's not counting the other half of the group.
Very true.
Good shot there by Richters. Butch Cooper. I'm tongue-tied over here again, asking about what kind of ebonite equipment is rolling well here. Well, these guys are throwing it all. Started today with the pivot and then worked their way to the pivot point. We saw McDowell pull out an ebonite source to give that a whirl. I don't believe he's thrown it yet. And Mike Shady went to Old Faithful, the raid, a little bit earlier. Of course, we see a lot of Storm and Roto Grip balls out there as well today. Good variety, certainly. Got the AC humming in here. It is a balmy 67 degrees or so out here on the lanes. Keep the bowlers comfortable. Get ready for the team event. Going to be a lot of bodies in here pretty soon. 3 p.m. is the next squad. So as we get finished up here, the Kegel Flex lane machines will hit the lanes. 5 of them. Mr. Smith, I'm no mathematician, but Things not going well here overall.
For that team all events number, yeah, it's we'll add it up just to make sure, but looks like this group from Wisconsin will not be taking it over from Beaver Dam crew of Jans HI.
Certainly a good run, always entertaining. Big team set, 35-02, the best of their careers together. That is currently 5th. Good ball change, good shot there for Richter. Again, switch to the Roto Grip Uproar. A little better look.
Feels like Steve should have a lot more out there than the scores have reflected today. He's been throwing the ball great all day. Only a few errant shots here and there. He's made some pretty good ball choices. Just some bad timing. Pocket 7-10 in the 10th frame. A few 8 pins and 9 pins at not so favorable times have certainly hurt the overall number, but he's been throwing it quite well all day.
So again, here's my question of the day. People talk about the pocket 710. Do you see a lot of not pocket 710s? Or just saying pocket 710 make it that much more dramatic? I don't know.
I don't have an answer to that, by the way.
Just like our co-worker, Mr. Olson, always thinking through life's dilemmas, like why why do we drive on the parkway and park on the driveway? It doesn't make any sense. There's your Olsonism of the day.
Marc McDowell piping it. So we put some giddy up on that ball. Shady can still get to 248. 235 possible for McDowell.
McDowell did not like that shot off his hand. It was fast and to the right. Sailed past the head pin. So he will be in the 220s. He's going to grab that ebonite source we talked about earlier. Give it a go here.
Shady in the 240s now.
We appreciate everybody sticking with us all the way through. We're now in game number 6 of 6. 11thframe.com bowling doubles and singles, something different. We've seen their team event 4 consecutive times, and now doubles and singles. Lifetime average leader for 20 years minimum, Gail Myers Jr. And keeping up that pace, USBC Hall of Famer Jeff Richgels. Very talented group here. Going back even to their collegiate days. But this is Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith. We're bringing it home here, the final game of the day. Aaron has some number updates for you.
Well, they did improve quite a bit that game. 11-19, 55 members of 11thframe.com won, which gets them to plus 827 overall for the tournament. Fortunately, they are officially locked out of getting to the top spot, so
again, a great run.
Absolutely, still a nice number. Still a big finish here from getting to that 10,000 number, still out there. Along with some, see, Rick's still having some fun out there. Possibly a few personal or individual goals can still be reached with the, who knows, maybe we'll see a few strikes started up in the game here. Making some red strikes out there.
Say as many times as I've written about these guys over the last 10 years, I haven't seen them bowl 300. With as much as they've accomplished in my reign, my tenure, no perfect games.
Gail is the only member of the team with one, and he is 2, along with the 299. Riggs has been close. Shady, 299. It can still happen. Gail getting deeper and deeper here.
Richters getting dangerously close to having to loft that left gutter. That shot didn't sound very good. Lucky to leave only the 6. But Richter, great shot since changing balls at the end of game number 2. 2 for 2 here in the finale. Nice hit on the 4. Too bad. Second one we've heard today. McDowell makes it a double. Could you call that a McDouble? McDouble, nice. Somebody's getting hungry.
It is the lunching hour in Reno, Nevada.
Gail Myers gives it a tickle, but only gets the 3 off the 310. Richter trying to stay perfect. Appreciate all the kind words in the chat room. Jessica Baker, thanks for tuning in. Still looking for a little Game 9 magic here out of the 11thframe.com folks. Regardless of the outcome, you can read all about it later this week on 11thframe.com.
My goodness. Another 8-pin on 43. That's just mean. Wow. And although there won't be an eagle this year for these gentlemen, you gotta love the passion that's still out there right now for. But they're still giving it all here on every shot.
So much pride on the line, of course, and a few prize dollars certainly won't hurt along the way.
All right, so it's up to Steve Richter now.
You're watching the finale, 11thframe.com doubles and singles. Not quite the show they put on last night in the team event. Hopefully some lessons out here for you folks watching at home.
Back-to-back high shots on 43 for Richtels.
Richter stepping up, the last hope for some fireworks here on today's broadcast. Here's that one to the right. Nice recovery. He looked a little worried there for a second, maybe. Nice crowd on hand, in person and online. Hoping to see this thing through. As the rest of the house getting done. It'll be quiet in here soon enough. Here's Richter looking for 5 in a row to start game 3 of singles. 201, 221.
Takes care of business, 5 in a row. Games of 201 and 221 here in singles. McDowell would be in the same spot if it wasn't for that stuff 8 in the third. He's got a 4 out of 5 though.
Just about the halfway point of game number 3. And 5 frames from now, the preparation for 2015 begins for 11thframe.com.
It's very true. Jeff Richgels is quick to say that these are the top 2 bowling days of the year for him and his group. Preparation certainly does start. I'm sure they're already registered for El Paso, Texas in 2015, and they're going to stay sharp on their games. I know Jeff's planning to, I think, head out to the Senior Masters in a little bit, along with the Senior US Open. Hit up a few PBA 50 stops as well, I believe is in the schedule, so. They'll stay sharp in the off season. Plenty of bowling opportunities up in the Madison area. As it gets closer, once the pattern gets revealed in El Paso, the real hard work sets in. Figure out the game plan, practice as a team, get everyone together. Then a year from now, we'll be here again, keeping an eye on these guys. Can figure out lane 43 here. By his last 2 shots, makes the right adjustment. halfway there, Steve Richter. Kegel flex machines getting wheeled by as the lane crew gets ready for the 3 p.m. coming up here shortly. We've gone red for Steve Richter. The red uproar has led to red strikes up on the scoreboard.
All right, so a little excitement saved for the finale here, game number 9. We're in the 7th frame. Richgels for 3 in a row. Solid singles event for him, 222, 226. And still has 260 out there. But story of the hour, Steve Richter, front 7. However, if he should finish that 300 game off past the allotted time, it would not count. Just kidding. Don't start any rumors. That would be the biggest travesty in the bowling world, I think. We would never do that, Steve. Don't worry. Go ahead and finish it off. Take your time. Just be done by 3 o'clock. Stubborn 7-pin for Richgels. Like Giggles, but with an R.
All right, getting ready on 44. Steve Richter, Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
A lot of folks in the neighborhood taking notes. Maybe looking to learn a little something here. Richter made the right ball change at the end of game number 2. And striking ever since. Front 8. At our last 300 last night during doubles and singles.
Should be number 20 of the year. I think it's official. 19 for 19 on 1900s. Michael Shady.
I wonder what it would take to really challenge Mike Shady here at the Open Championships. Gail Myers having a rough singles event. Back-to-back 202s. Could be looking at a triplicate here. Aaron says no, he's not going to make the spare. And with that, the lifetime average leader will be under 600 here in singles. And as the National Bowling Stadium grows quiet, it's time for the Steve Richter Show.
Starring Steve Richter?
Starring Steve Richter as himself. He's the tallest member of 11thframe.com. 3-time champion. Now working on the front 8, stepping up on lane 43. His weapon of choice, the Roto Grip Uproar. That one is left. He leaves the Zeke bait, the 3-6-10.
Great run by Steve there. He's going to have a great overall number here. Still get to 277, so another 70 would be 700 plus. So he's on the cusp of 2100.
While you're calculating that out, I just want to call out my good buddy Chris Hester, who's joining the chat late, but appears to have forgotten his glasses. When he logged onto the computer today, he asked,
Chris Hester doesn't need glasses. What are you talking about?
is McDowell bowling on the other pair or later? Well, he's the guy about to step up on lane 43. The red indicator next to his name, Marc McDowell. I'm going to pay for that one, I think. But Chris Hester, again, just some good-natured ribbing there. Welcome. That is the same Chris Hester who's going to annihilate me on the lanes at the Open Championships and dine like a king on Juicy's Burgers or wherever we're going. It's a fact, Mr. Smith.
There's a place in Reno called Juicy's Burgers?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Something to that effect. He swears by it, and he'll be eating there for free.
Fair enough.
After he outperforms me in 8 games.
Used all capital letters and calling you pal. That's serious stuff right there.
As long as he doesn't say, thanks for calling me out, former Ebonite staff member Matt Cannizzaro.
Please return all undrilled balls immediately.
Pretty sure every ball just became out of stock.
No, I bet he has a few maxims for you.
He knows better. He knows I don't make spares. That the 2014 Open Championships campaign comes to an end for Gail Myers Jr. 575. Certainly appreciate everybody sticking with us today, especially Butch Cooper and Chris Hester. Thanks for stopping by. Shut things down here in just a minute. Frame number 10 coming to an end.
Like Gail Myers finishes up 2014 with 1941 unofficially. A bonus shot for Richter. Thought he missed that one. Here's the final delivery. Jeff Riggles. 1893 for Jeff. Steve ends with a pocket 710 for the ever popular 263. Gives him 685. So he'll be in the 2000s, just under 2100 mark, I believe. 2076.
So as Aaron said earlier, McDowell working on a McDouble, looking for 3 in a row.
So hungry.
So meeting of the Hall of Famers behind us, Bill Spigner, Jeff Richgels, chatting it up. We talked about having Richgels on for a few thoughts as we wind down here, but he's off in the near distance, packing things up.
Shot for Mike Shady.
Caves him in for 207.
Streak stays alive.
More than enough.
Looks like 1958.
Final shot of the year, fittingly, also trips out to 4-9. Aaron will get your final calculations here. Take a look up at the scoreboard. Do appreciate everybody tuning in today. 11thframe.com put on a big show last night, 35:02. Best performance they've had in the team event here. Good for 5th place overall here in 2014. And today didn't go quite as well for the champs. But a great year by most standards. Aaron will have those final numbers for you here in just a minute. He is feverishly typing.
All right, unofficially for 11thframe.com, Steve Richter led the way 2076, Marc McDowell 2019, Mike Shady 1958, Gail Myers Jr. 1941, Jeff Richgels 1893, unofficially 98-87 for team all events.
All right, so a little bit shy of that 10,000 number, and of course, team all events leading Jans HI 10,363, so they can breathe another sigh of relief. And that is going to do it from the National Bowling Stadium today. This is Matt Cannizzaro and Aaron Smith. We'll be back on the air again in just a couple of days. We're going to see the defending regular doubles champions, Brian Burkhart and Rick Gatlin. It's going to be a late one. 1:30 a.m. on the East Coast, 10:30 here in Reno. But looking forward to another exciting performance from those gentlemen. They had their breakout showing in 2013. And that is going to do it for today. Appreciate everybody stopping by over the last few hours. Tell all your friends. If you missed some of today's broadcast, you can find it in the archives on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BowlTV. And some details on bowl.com and Facebook as well. We're everywhere. And that is the news for now. We'll see you on the lanes.